Some of us spend our time playing new releases, or whatever games are in the charts. I, on the other hand, prefer the finer things in life. A great game is like fine wine and gets better with age. But like a fine wine, sometimes these commodities hold significant value. You may not be able to afford thousands of classic games, but I certainly can. So I am here to educate you and share with you my experiences with some of the best games of all time. In my last video, we took a look at the early history and story of Star Fox, aka Starwing. We took a look at the easy flight route and firmly established that this is a fun game to play today. In today's episode, we are going to look at the intermediate and difficult flight paths. Let's get down to business. You once again start off on Corneria. It is a different level to before, but still finishes with another fight against the attack carrier. Progressing to the second level, you head to Sector X. Again, this is similar to the asteroid belt on easy route. However, the extra challenge here comes from avoiding massive amounts of space debris. At the end of this stage, you face off with the Rock Crusher again. There are lots of repeats here from the easy route I covered in my previous video. When you get to stage 3, Titania, you have a completely new level with no recycling. This level has new music, new obstacles, new enemies, and the level even has genital herpes. I mean crabs. There is a lot of new variety here, and as you hit checkpoints, the planet's environment changes. You eventually go through a weird pyramid-like structure and face a boss named Professor Hanger. This boss is weird, and so is the environment. I am really confused with what's meant to be happening at this point. I don't get it, but I like it. On to stage 4, Sector Y. Again, this level is quite strange. You have relaxing music playing with an aquatic vibe, and most of the enemies on this stage are sea creatures, like whales, stingrays, and jellyfish. I am really starting to think the developers probably done too many drugs making this game. The boss of the area is called Plasma Hydra, and you kill him by shooting his arms. Although you do need to be careful doing this, as he flails his arms all over the place like an invalid on crack. After this, you once again find yourself flying high over Venom. Pretty similar to the last time you was here really, however this time there is an annoying boss battle at the end. This enemy is called the Metal Smasher, and if you don't watch what you are doing, it will crush and destroy you. Crush, crush, crush and destroy! Crush, crush, crush and destroy! This time, on the planet Venom's surface, you find yourself on what looks like a highway. You must dodge pillars in the road, shoot vehicles, and at the end have another samey boss battle once again with Andros. As a child, I have nowhere near as many memories playing the game on the intermediate route as I do on the easy route. Maybe it is perhaps on the easy route I learned how to thoroughly play the game, so by the time I got to the intermediate route, I became good enough to pass this with relative ease. It was still fun to revisit it though. Next up, Route 3, Hard Mode. You once again start on Corneria. This time it appears to either be dusk or dawn. This time the level is a lot more challenging than the previous 2 visits, with a wide variety of polygon objects blocking your path. The level ends with a boss battle against a massive bloody tank called the Destructor. This boss battle is fun and really nice to visit Corneria and fight something different. After this, it's back to the asteroid belt. This is much more challenging too than the last time we were here. There is a variety of new enemies, such as these things that attach themselves to asteroids, and these horrible demonic asteroids which are self-aware and have faces. The boss of this stage is named Blade Barrier. He does these really sneaky attacks where he catches you in a net, then tries to blend you with his turbines. If you get snared, the way out is to do a barrel roll. Stage 3 is Fortuna. This is a planet full of prehistoric wildlife, and again, this level is very fun as it is always nice to see a completely fresh environment rather than another clone level. This one isn't too difficult, provided you avoid the Loch Ness Monster's attacks and don't fly into the boss's arse when you are fighting the Monarch Dodora. Right, so far I can say all the levels across the 3 difficulty modes have been great fun. But when you make it to stage 4 on the hard route, the crap starts to hit the fan and frustration starts setting in. The level itself isn't too bad. The space debris flying around can be very annoying at times, but it is manageable. But when you get to the boss of this stage, the irritatingness of the final route sets in. I normally find I have a 50-50 chance of winning this fight. It is very frustrating as your aircraft ends up flying backwards whilst you shoot these things to try and disable the lethal beams. What makes it even more annoying is your craft keeps changing directions, and if you hit the things creating the beams you have already disabled, then they bloody turn back on. Once the beams are disabled, you have a short time to blow up the core. However, if you do not dispatch of the core quick, you have to start the whole bloody beam process again. On the 50-50 chance I beat that stage, I head to the planet Macbeth, which is pretty much the typical fiery depiction of hell. And to be frank with you, this level really is hell. I reckon my completion rate on this bloody level is probably no more than a mere 10%. There are tough enemies and obstacles everywhere, and if I manage to get through it, the boss of the area is extremely tough and usually kills me. This is hard mode of the game, so you would expect to die here and there. But the huge problem is, if you die, you instantly lose all your power-ups. And if you're struggling to play the game with the power-ups, then you obviously have absolutely no chance in hell on beating the game without them. I do remember getting past this point as a child and making it onto Venom. However, as an adult, I do not appear to stand a chance. My skill levels at this game appear to have significantly dropped. So in order to explore past this point, I've had to be a naughty boy and resort to emulated save points. Beating this game fairly on a cartridge from what I have seen, the only chance in hell you will ever have of doing it is if you are Luke Skywalker or some other Jedi with cat-like reflexes. The stage flying above Venom isn't too bad, however you have more enemies flying at you than on any other level I have seen. But this is tolerable as there is no debris for you to fly into. The hard part of the stage is the boss battle against an enemy called the Great Commander. This bloody thing appears to have the smallest hitboxes in the world, and it is difficult to bring its energy meter down. Personally, I found the best way of defeating it was nuking it multiple times, as it seems to have the best chance of covering the small hitboxes. However, this didn't always seem to work, and I found myself resetting the emulated save states multiple times. The final stage, back on the surface of Venom, is again ridiculous. I haven't really got much to say, other than that difficulty wise, this stage is in line with Macbeth, and once again in the game it throws every trick in its book at you to try and kill you. If you somehow get through this stage, you find yourself fighting the Great Commander again, this time taking a different form. This battle isn't too difficult, and I actually found it quite fun. Basically, you keep shooting it in the vagina, then victory will be yours. Speaking of gaping holes, after this you descend once again beneath the surface of the planet into Andross's tunnel. Basically, remember me mentioning earlier you need to be a Jedi to beat this game? Well, this tunnel is a perfect example. There are so many pillars popping out at all different altitudes trying to destroy you that the chances of making it through here intact are extremely minimal. If by some miracle or use of the Force you make it through, then the final battle is against the bloody devil himself. If you have made it this far, you have either used emulated save states or have channeled the power of Lucifer yourself. Again, this is an insultingly difficult boss, and if you somehow get through this too, I think you deserve a job as a pilot in the RAF or something. So to summarise the hard route, you have to beat this bloody thing, followed by somehow survive Macbeth along with its boss, then you have to go on to defeat the Great Commander, then you have to survive bloody Venom, then you have to live through the tunnel of Venom, then you have to beat Satan himself. Essentially, all without losing a life, because you'd lose all your power-ups. This is freaking impossible. And if you have done this fairly, I am not worthy of you, and you deserve to be knighted by the Queen or something. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All 3 main routes on Starwing. I've been trying to beat the hard route for 23 years, and here is to another 23 years of trying. The final route is impossibly hard, but at least it always gives me a permanent goal to try and reach, which is something most modern games would never give you. Are all these routes worth playing? Most certainly. The easy and intermediate routes are great fun and always worth a visit, and even the hard mode is worth playing, even though sometimes you feel like you're going to go absolutely crazy trying to beat this ridiculous route. Playing this game has reminded me how great the Star Fox franchise can be, and has made me even more excited about trying Star Fox Zero. So save us, Star Fox, you're the only hope for our world. If you are currently playing the new Star Fox Zero game, let me know what you think of it in the comments section. Cheerio!